Well, welcome back. 2012 Nissan Altima 2.5 needs rear brakes. Going to do rear pads and rotors on this Nissan. Alright, so first thing, 14 millimeter for the slide bolts, 19 millimeter for the bracket. This control arm is going to be in your way. You're not going to be able to take this off all at once. You got to take the bracket and the caliper off at the same time to get them off. So I'm going to break these loose. We're going to break these 19 millimeters loose as well. And we're just going to take this apart. So before I do that, I almost always forget, should have a screwdriver here somewhere. I want to try to push that piston back in a little bit. I'm going to reach in here with a screwdriver. Just pry that forward just a little. And do it all the way so I have gap, so I don't have to worry about it holding on me when I'm trying to take it apart. We break the 14 millimeter loose here. We'll try to. Come on. There we go. They're not that tight. They're really not. They're just snugged up. Alright. Get them loose. Like I said, you're not going to be able to take that bottom one all the way out. Just leave the top one in hanging so I can pivot on it. Alright, so they're all the way loose. Yeah, it hits that. Won't be able to get it out of there. 19 millimeter for the mounting bracket, as I said. I'm just going to come in here. Let's see where I can get it. Yeah, push it down. I'm going to break these loose. Once you get them started, they're easy. Or easier, I guess I should say. Back the bottom here too. Otherwise, it's not coming loose, especially when you're tightening it. Pretty dumb. Not the smartest thing I've done, for sure. There we go. Amateur day. Definitely amateur hour. Going the wrong way. Alright, we'll just take these off now. There's my bottom bolt. Set that aside. Top out. Now I can pivot that and I can get everything out, right? Get my bolts out. Separate my caliper. Set that aside for now. Just set that up here. And get my top bolt out here. How much is your thing? Don't lose my washer. I want that. And we'll put blue Loctite on these when I put them back in. You've got two pins. One has a collar. Top one has a collar on this. So remember to put the top one with the collar of the pin back in the top hole. We're going to clean these up. These are pretty clean. They have a little bit of corrosion. Bottom one tends to get a little more up around the top, right by the threads. Not too bad there. We'll clean them up on a wire wheel. They're not bad at all. We'll do that. Set them aside. We're going to come in here, clean the face of this piston right here. I don't know how much that you can see. Let me see if I can get you a little better light here. Move my light a little bit. Face of this piston and the back of these tabs. You get any corrosion off of there, and then we'll push that piston the rest of the way back in. Hopefully we don't have a hung up rotor here, I hope. The other side came right off. This side probably will hang up. That's not too bad. There we go. So we're replacing them, so we'll just set that aside. It's pretty clean. face of this is pretty clean. We're going to get my flashlight to give you a little better light. We're going to get in here and just clean corrosion off a little bit and re-grease this. We'll grease this. Well, re-grease it. I don't think it's been greased. Yeah, maybe it has. Grease the face of this so the rotor doesn't stick to it. We're going to clean this up now. Clean that bracket up first. You can use whatever you have. Cookie wheel, file. Let me get my file, so I left it in the cart. I'm just going to come in here, get my light in the right spot here. I'm just going to come in here and clean this, clean the face of this off. This is not bad at all, so it's not going to take a whole lot to get it clean. I like to do this before I push the piston all the way back in so you don't have to worry about hitting the boot. And this has got minimal corrosion, so it's not going to take much to clean it up. Same with these outside. I'm going to get in here and just clean it out, brake dusting, a little bit of corrosion on tabs, not much. Alright, we'll do that while we're in here. I'm going to brake clean that. Oh, brake clean, chemical 1001 uses. Clean this off real good. Going to come around, especially around the center hub. We want to clean that really well because that's where they tend to stick. Just going to rub this. I think it's got a little bit of grease on it. I think it's got something on it. Some kind of junk. I'm going to clean that off. Just wipe it down before we sand it. I ever have these off before, B? I might have, because they've had anti-seize on them. I don't know if that was me or someone else. You really haven't had anything done, well, except tires, right? Maybe?
Yeah, just tires.
Car's got about 70,000 miles, something like that.
Yep.
First set of brakes on the rears. So that's not bad. Get 70,000 miles out of it. It's not bad at all. Remember the adjusters at the top here. I'm going to do what I didn't do on their side, which is which way tightens, which way loosens. So if you move it up, it loosens it. Brings the pads in. Move it down, it tightens it. So we'll bring it up so it's not a problem. And then we'll tighten and adjust it after we get the rotor on there. So got this cleaned. Let me grease that. If you're not using a coated rotor, this just keeps it from sticking to the hub and making it hard to get off. I have coated rotors, but I still like to grease these. Coated rotor shouldn't need it, but it doesn't hurt. Thin coat, especially around this center flange. That'll be part number 2 for the rotor. Somewhere, there's part number. 980070FZN. These are Rabestus Element 3 fully coated rotors. I've kind of switched to these and use these most of the time now, simply because of rust. You get a lot of rust here, and these help a lot. It's usually what kills them is the rust. No brake clean on these because they're fully coated. If you're not fully coated rotors, make sure you clean your rotors off with either brake clean or soap and water, whatever you want to do, but make sure you do it. Okay, we'll just stick that on there for now. Now, I'm going to take this bracket. Obviously, there's an indicator. The indicator is on the inside. Well, there's no indicator on this one, but there is on the new ones. I tend to put them on the inside. There was one on the other side. There's not on this side. I don't know why they do that. Only on one wheel, but it goes on the inside on this one. Always replace your hardware, of course. If I can get it off of there, doesn't want to come off. We're going to take this file, clean out any of the corrosion that's in here, and we're going to re-grease it and put it back together. Alright, so I've cleaned out behind is a file and then wire wheeled them. You have to file them if the corrosion's any amount of significance, otherwise you won't get the corrosion off of there. Just kind of polishes it. So, did that. These are ready to be grease behind the hardware. Always grease behind the hardware. I use Ceramic Extreme, like Permatex for metal to metal. That's what I like. So we'll just come in here, thin coat behind where the hardware goes. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully the lighting's okay. Probably not, but all you're doing is keeping moisture out of there. What generally happens is corrosion builds up behind the hardware and pushes the hardware in, pinches the pad, and then it won't move. So that's what all we're doing. Fighting corrosion. Not much to it. Okay. We push that piston back in on the caliper. Push that all the way in. Right up here. I don't know, can you even see this? Yeah, I think you can. Before we you can use big pair of channel locks, vice grips for this if you have them, or you can use the tool. We'll just push it all the way in. Should move freely. Check your master cylinder. If it's too full, you can take a little bit out. Now you see how this is deformed a little bit. It's got a little bit of air in it, the boot. So I'm going to come in here with a pick. Don't poke a hole in it. Just go right along the edge of the piston. Get down on the seal and pry it up. It'll push the air out of it. You couldn't see it, but now the piston, the boot is all the way flush. They get air in them. They just kind of bulge out a little bit. No big deal. Same deal with this. We're going to grease the face of that piston, and we're going to grease the backing tabs that ride against the back of the other pad. Just like this. Corrosion and noise. Helps with the noise and keeps corrosion out of there. Face of this piston. Nothing too exciting, but it does make a difference. Alright, that's it for that. Alright. I'll show you that too. Brake pads. There's your brake pads. These are element 3 as well. They go with the Rotors, EHT 905H. Let's get our bracket. Let's put our hardware back on here. Nothing serious. Get it lined up. Clip it into place. No big deal. Light's probably terrible. Alright, hardware's on. We'll put our boots, check your boots. If they're cracked or torn, you want to replace them, these are fine. They're easy to take off, so I just took them off so I don't have to worry about damaging them when I'm wire wheeling the bracket. We'll put them back on, make sure they get on all the way. Let's see. This is going to go like this. Like this. This is my top, obviously. Inside pad, I want to put my indicator on this one up top, like that. I'll just sit them in place here. Probably knock them out of here 5 or 6 times. That's usually what happens. Yep, there's one. One down. Okay. Get one set in, get the outside in as well. Probably knock that one, the other one out a couple times. Just knock my camera out of the way. Make sure I got them in there right. They should move freely, and these do. So you can't put this completely back on, or you're not going to be able to get this pin in. So I'm going to set it in place. I'm going to put the top bolt for the mount in place. I am going to use a little blue Loctite on it. We'll just get it started. See if I messed this up or not. Don't know. I don't think so. All right, you hold it by the pads there. Won't go anywhere. Get my top bolt lined up here and get it started. Alright, I use Permatex silicone formula for these. Any brake grease, Sil Glide, whatever it's got to be brake grease, that's all. Make sure you get it in that groove at the top where the boot goes into the boot, so it seals that up as well. Just a thin coat. This is the one with the collar that goes in the top. So we'll get that one started. Almost close. If it's still running, might help if I turned it on. It was on. Thought I had my camera off, but it was actually on. So I'm alright. Get this one started. Pick it up. Get it started in there. And I get to pull them back out because, of course, I have to put the caliper in place. That was dumb. Knew I'd get something out of sequence. I have to. It's a given. Got to do something like that. Alright. No big deal. Alright. Make sure your flexible line is not twisted up. Everything is greased. Squeeze your pads against the rotor. You should be able to fit this if you push the piston back in. Shouldn't have any problem there. And like I said, one with the collars at the top on this. Start that one. The bottom one. Get the bottom one. Pivot it up a little bit. Get that started. Alright, bottom bolt for the mount. Let's put that back in. A little bit of thread locker. More than I needed, actually. Yeah, get my head right in your way. Get this started. I'll just tighten it up. Tighten them. The I do have a torque spec. Now I don't know what it is. You can welcome to look it up if you want. They have to be tight. I use a extra long wrench for it. Just tighten them. They're pretty big bolts. Not these. Don't crush the ones for the slide bolts. They're only 14 millimeter heads on them. They just need to be snugged up. These, I'll make sure they're tight. So we'll tighten them up. Tighten my 14 millimeter slide bolts up. I don't think I forgot anything. I'll know soon enough if I did. Snug these up, don't crush them. You just need to be snugged up. Make sure your boot is in there good. Everybody's happy with that. Okay, caliper should move in and out like that easily. Hopefully you can see that. It's not hung up, it just slides easily. These are not tight right now. We're going to have to set them, but we're going to adjust the parking brake, which never gets used. Automatics, very few people use them, but we're going to adjust it anyway. Make sure it's where it should be. Get on our, come on, where are you? Find it. I know it's at the top. That's right there. Which way did I say it was tighter? I don't remember. I think down. I'm just gonna reach in and rotate it down. See, I'd like to tighten them all the way so they can't move, and then back them off. My preferred way of doing it. Yes, that's all the way tight. I can't turn it. So now I'm going to rotate it the other way, back it off a little bit. So it's got just a little bit of play in it. Good. Make sure you clean the rotor face, anything that got on the rotor, clean that up. All right. Ready to go. That's it, pretty much. This, you take this from the old rotor, this little rubber piece, transfer it to the new one. Keep the moisture out of there, dirt, garbage out of it. What I will tell you is be careful doing this. If you push it in and push it through all the way, you get to take everything apart to do it again. Don't ask me how I know. Not that I've ever done that. Put that in place. Obviously we'll put the wheel back on here. Torque everything up, torque the wheel nuts and everything. It's good to go. Pretty easy. So before you take this out, or I should say, pump your brake pedal. It's going to go to the floor initially because you've pushed that piston back in, and then we're going to go out and bed these pads to this rotor, to these rotors. Basically, we're going to drive it. Brake pretty hard. Don't stop all the way. From about 60 down to about 10, 15 miles an hour. Drive it a quarter mile, half an hour, do the same thing. We'll do that probably 8, 10 times and let the pads bed themselves to the rotor. These coated rotors, this pad's going to take that coating off of the rotor on the surface where the pad actually works. The rest will be coated, but you need to do that regardless of the pad. You want to bed them into the rotors so you get good adhesion, if you want to call it that. There's a couple different ways that pads work, and make sure that they work to the best they can. That's it. That's pretty much it. Basic maintenance. Do your maintenance. I say it all the time in videos. Take care of your car. It'll give you a lot less grief, even though I can't talk, if you just do your maintenance.